Hey guys. All right, so it is that time of year again when I need to make my second outfit for the special day assembly of the year. It's the last one of the year too, because obviously it's the end of the year. But I'm going to be showing you two garments that I'm going to be making. One is a dress and the other is a coat. I'm super excited about this because I've been wanting to make both of these for many years. What I'm going to show you first is the dress. It is by Vogue. It's a Vogue Paris original. I cannot find the date on here when this pattern was made. However, I do know for a certainty that it was made in the 1960s. Now, to some of y'all, when I tell you a little bit about this pattern, you're going to be like, really? But for those people who love fashion and know what being a seamstress is all about, you're going to be like, I mean, if you had to have it, you had to have it. So this pattern I have been hunting down for like all of my years of sewing. This is one of those patterns that when you see it, you automatically know like you're never going to be able to find it for a reasonable price. The highest amount that I've ever seen this pattern available for is $125, which that is like a 4,000% increase on what the original price was. So let me show it to you. It is the Jean Patou 2109 Vogue Paris original. If you actually look this up in your internet search engine, you will see that there was a editorial that Twiggy did back in the 60s of this very same dress. The only difference is that she did not have cuffs on her sleeves. She left them open like bell sleeves, and it was equally as cute. And she wore it in a baby blue with that awesome eyeliner and stuff, because y'all know Twiggy was like super cute and fashionable back in the day. This is the exact pattern, okay? Now, originally it retailed for $3. I did not buy it for $3. I'm not going to tell you how much I bought it for. I did not buy it for $3, and I did not buy it for $125, okay? It was way more than $3 and way less than $125. But anyway, I had to have this pattern because originally I thought this was a coat. It was not until I actually finally got possession of this pattern, like this time last year in 2015, that I realized this is a dress. I mean, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. I can still make it into a coat if I wanted to. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of finagling with it, but I have it. It's in my stash. I'm telling y'all, I feel like I need to like take out insurance on some of my sewing patterns because I've got some pretty fly vintage patterns that I've spent a lot of money on, and this is one of them, and I'm so glad I have it. Oh my god. Anyway, the fabric that I'm going to be doing this particular pattern in is a brocade that I bought from Joann Fabrics. This brocade is so fancy. I vowed that I was not going to do this pattern until I found a fabric that was worthy of it, because this is so epic. Like, I know it may not be the style for some of y'all. I love turtlenecks and high necklines. It's just, this dress has so much texture in it. Even with her wearing it in all red, this monotone all red, it's got so much texture in it. Like with the puff sleeves and the puff skirt, but it's fitted at the top with this button. Oh my god, it's just so awesome. So anyway, this is the best that I could find for right now because I really want to wear this pattern. I wanted to wear it last year, but I didn't see any fabric that I really liked. So I'm going to be using this brocade. And the brocade is navy blue, bronze, gold, and it has a little bit of like olive green in it as well. It is so sassy, okay? I had to have it. I love brocade. It's so classy. Everybody can't wear brocade. Everybody cannot wear brocade. I'm just saying, it's not a stretch fabric, and if you ain't the right size and you stretching out your brocade, it will tell on you. I'm just saying. Anyway, this is going to be part of the dress as well as the contrasting fabric. It's a bronze, copperish fabric, and it's very lightweight. I think it's like a lightweight organza because it's not stiff, but it is slippery. This is going to be used for that piece where the buttons come down the neck, the shoulder, and then the side, as well as that belt that's inset into the dress. So the second pattern I'm going to be doing is also a Vogue pattern. This was originally printed in 2012, so I've had this for 4 years. It is a Pamela Roland Cocoon coat. The pattern number is 1332. And this is one of those patterns that you really need to read the instructions before you start anything. Like, go ahead and wash your fabric, but don't cut nothing out because it's very, very important. Most patterns will tell you what skill level it is. This is an advanced pattern. The old patterns don't tell you that because either you could sew or you couldn't sew. But nowadays they will tell you if it's very easy, average, or difficult, or very difficult. Now, I have made Vogue patterns before, and even their easy pattern tends to be on the more advanced side. So if you're a beginner sewer, if you are not starting with the very easy Vogue patterns, I would not suggest that you start there. You need to start with a Butterick or McCall's, okay? Work your way up to Vogue once you've got some experience underneath your belt. So this cocoon coat, it has a definite shape, but it also has an indefinite shape. Some of y'all are probably looking at this like, what is this eclectic, weird mess? It's me, okay? I love this. If I had ever come across this fabric, I would have bought this fabric and made this exact coat. But this is another one of those patterns where I was waiting to find a fabric that was perfect for it in order to make this coat. Also, I do not make coats often. Y'all know I make mostly dresses. Like, I make some separates, but I prefer making dresses. So the last coat that I made, it's been a long time, okay? It's been a long time since I've made a coat. Yeah, I had to sit down and read the instructions for this because I don't want to mess this up. The fabric that I bought was something that was exclusive to Joann's last winter, so it's no longer available. You can't find it no more. And I don't even know what the name of the collection was. I just know when I saw it, I was like, that's going to be that cocoon coat by Vogue. So it's kind of got like this felted southwestern look to it. Cranberry, navy, rust, gray, ecru, indigo, cornflower. Oh, it's so pretty. And then this coat does have welts on it and pockets. As you can see, her hands are tucked into the pockets. So I'm going to be using this faux wet look leather for the welts in the pockets. But yeah, this, I have been waiting to make this coat for 4 years. Like, I have been so excited, but never could find anything that was just like the fabric. So now I have it, and I've had it for a year. I should have made it last year, but it didn't. One thing about this particular pattern, and again, I have not, as you see, I have not cut out anything as of yet as far as fabric. No lining, anything. As a matter of fact, the batting for the coat is sitting over here. This is actually supposed to be a lightweight jacket. When it gives you the suggested fabrics, it's jacquard, crepe back satin, and lightweight gabardine. I am not interested in making a jacket out of any of those fabrics. They're too lightweight. I want to wear this in the winter time, and I want people to turn their head and be like, where did you get that from? You got that from Steinmart, didn't you? If you don't know what Steinmart is, it's like TJ Maxx, but for middle-aged ladies. This pattern has 43 instructions. Now that seems like a lot, but when you actually read through your pattern and rewrite them in terms that you can understand, it's not actually a lot of instructions. So I'm going to show you guys what I do before I start sewing something. What I do is I literally rewrite the instructions in terms that I can understand. So here's the first sheet. I'm sorry, wait. Here's the first side. This is telling you how to lay down your cutting, your fabric. So I am going to be using the fabric, and I'm going to be using a batting, and I'm also going to be using lining. This jacket also called for underlining, but that's something that you only need when you're using lightweight fabrics. I have never used underlining, and I'm reading these instructions like, what is underlining? Where would you even put it on this jacket if you've got lining and fabric? Well, after going online to see what exactly underlining is, I realized I don't need it. So I just crossed out that whole section. Also, you'll see another crossed out section here, which is sew-in interfacing. Sew-in interfacing is going to stabilize lightweight fabrics. Because that's a heavy, almost wool-like fabric, I am not going to be using any interfacing. Because literally, interfacing is not going to make one bit of difference on that heavy fabric. So I crossed that part out as well. But as you can see here, I've got some stuff written down. And what I did is, if I need to cut out fabric, I'd number which pieces need to be cut out of the fabric. But then because my welts are of a different fabric, I also write out which number pieces they are and how many I need to cut out. If you look on the actual instructions, I've rewritten all of those too. And a lot of the times, I can get a lot of it finished before I actually like really start getting into sewing. So like, the batting needs to be attached to the fabric by quilting. You need to stitch the center back of things or stitch the sleeve of something. I usually do all that little itty bitty prep work before I get started on the major sewing projects, which take more time and effort. And with these Vogue patterns, they're a little bit more detailed. So sometimes I'm just basically abbreviating what it says, but I know that I need to go back and read what it says in that particular step. So just because I rewrite it doesn't mean that I don't go back and read what it says. It just means that I need to draw attention to that one to make sure that I do all the steps there. But actually, now that I've rewritten it, it does not seem like an advanced pattern at all. Like this seems like something I could get finished in a weekend, or if I like started really early in the day, like in the morning, I could probably have it finished by the evening. The rest pattern has 57 instructions. This actually has more instructions than the coat does. So I have not yet read through this and rewrote the instructions. I will, but I'm doing one project at a time. I know if that was long and drawn out, that was 15 minutes of me talking. I'm sorry. But for those of you who are interested in sewing or you're a beginner at sewing, I hope that I said something that will help you. So basically, to sum it all up, read your instructions before you cut your fabric and rewrite them in terms that you can understand. Okay? And do not start with advanced patterns if you are new to sewing. Start with your Butterick and McCall's. Trust me, you cannot go wrong with either one of those. Simplicity will trip you up. I would wait until you've got a little bit of sewing underneath your belt. Once you've made a couple of dresses and a couple skirts, then move on to simplicity. Berta and Vogue are together. Berta is a German company, and some of their lingo, some of their words are a little bit different in English, and you'd be like, what does that mean? Even experienced sewers who've been sewing for decades, longer than I've been alive, all say Berta is very difficult at times to understand. And I know because I've been there. I've made some Berta stuff, and I'm just like, I guess I'm going to have to break out my German dictionary because this was tough. But anyway, you will see me wearing the dress and the coat next, and I hope you enjoy and start sewing. Hey guys! So how do you like my dress? She's so cute, isn't she? Okay, but for real, this is not what I planned at all. I mean, it is, but it's not. Okay, so I showed you guys the two fabrics that I wanted to use, which is still what I wanted to use. It just didn't turn out the way that I conceptualized it in my head, okay? So I made a couple modifications to it. The skirt on here is supposed to be gathered. I hate doing gathers, and my sewing machine does not like gathering for me. So instead I pleated it, and I had to make sure that I did the placement of the pattern pieces just right in order to get it to center just right on the bodice, front, back, and skirt front and back. So as you can see, everything is pretty much centered with the exception of this one. I messed up the pleat on the front here. One pleat should go one way and one pleat should go the other. But it's too late for all that. We're not turning back. Everybody liked it. The only person who knows that I made that mistake is me. Okay, so I lengthened the dress, which changes the look a little bit in my mind. There's going to be some of y'all out there who are going to love it long, and I love it long too. It's just not the way that I thought it was going to be in my head. But with that being said, lengthened, so I added in a couple extra little panels. The neckline was shortened. It's actually almost double the length that you can see here because I don't have no neck, y'all. So I had to shorten it because it was like on my chin. Okay, so here's the back side. And as I said, there's pleats. These pleats match up perfectly. They look great. I don't know why I messed up the front so bad. I will say this. If you are a beginner sewer and you want to work with brocade, don't do it. Okay? You need to give yourself some time to work with some other less difficult fabrics before you move on to brocade. If you decide that you want to use brocade anyway, you want to be daring and bold, you need to get you one of two things in order to deal with brocade. You need to either get pinking shears or you need to get a rotary blade that is a pinking blade. And they do have those at Joann Fabrics. They are cheaper at Hobby Lobby. But you need that in order to cut brocade because it is a fabric that will leave all kinds of lint. Fraying! My mama's sitting over here, you guys. It starts fraying automatically. But when you cut it with a pinking shear, which gives it the zigzag effect, it stops the fraying from happening significantly. Like, it's ridiculous how much it stops it. And I actually learned that from the lady who cut this fabric at Joann's. Like, she stopped and then went and got some pinking shears and started cutting it. I was like, oh my God, how did I not know this? Okay. Also, this liquid fabric that I use, it also frays very easily, so I cut this with the pinking blade as well. It's just a really, really good tool to have in your arsenal of sewing tools. So, there's not really much else to say about this except it was extremely difficult to make. Those 1960 patterns do not tell you the difficulty of the skill level for those patterns. Unless you can look at it and see that it has like 8 pieces or less, it's probably going to be a difficult pattern, and it was. A lot of the diagrams that was drawn on the pattern, very difficult to decipher. You really have to go by the notches that are on the pattern pieces, as well as the shading of it to show you is it the right side or the wrong side of the fabric, is it interfaced, is it underlined, all that you like really have to pay good attention to, which is why I rewrite all the instructions on the pattern. It just makes it a lot simpler, even though I don't understand everything that's going on. But with that being said, even though it was a very difficult pattern, it got done at 4:45 a.m. last night. But I like the way that it turned out. Oh, and it does have snaps on it. I'm pretty sure I told you guys that I wasn't going to be using buttons. It does have snaps. The snaps were pretty easy to apply. I have both 1-inch snaps and like 1/2-inch snaps. They work equally as well, except the big snaps cost more, so I would go with the small snaps. It's not as short as the pattern calls for. I made it longer. Y'all know me, I like long flowy dresses because I'm short. I thought it was going to be more mod than it turned out in my head. I actually feel like I look like a Russian nesting doll, and my ex-roommate agreed with me, and she doesn't often agree with me, and she was like, I totally see you. You just need to have your arms crossed just like this with little rosy cheeks and just put one inside of you, and yeah. So I feel like I was a Russian nesting doll. Anyway, okay. Now I'm going to show you the coat, okay? Okay, you guys, here is the Cocoon coat. This is like one of my favorite coats ever. And I've got like 3 other coats that I really want to make. So I'm thinking I'm getting ready to get rid of all my department store coats, because why would you wear anything off the rack when you can make something that's beautiful? Okay, so I know some of y'all looking at this like, what is this? Okay, this is a felted Cocoon coat. It does not say Cocoon coat on the pattern, but come on, it was like a cocoon, right? Come on. Okay, so even though this was an advanced pattern from Vogue, this one was not that difficult to do. I think the most difficult thing about this pattern was making these welted pockets. I am not good at welts. It is one of those things that I'm going to have to practice on. The welts took like 4 hours before I was able to get them. After that, everything went pretty fast. As you can see, the sleeve is tucked inside of the shell of the coat. I didn't press any seams open because, I mean, it's bulky, so what was I going to press open? Yeah, this coat is just, it's perfect. I love it so much. I love it. Oh, let me show you the inside. There's actually supposed to be 3 snaps, which 3 of those snaps are on the dress. So I'm going to have to go buy more snaps to do this one. But it does have a large hook and eye for the meantime. And the coat is really warm with the batting. I'm going to show you the quilted lining on the inside. So this is done with a faux leather that is no longer available at Joann's. And I'm sad about that because I love this stuff. But it's quilted on the inside. I'm not certain that I used the right batting for this, but it's super warm, so I don't care because I need really warm coats. But it is fully lined, fully completed. It's so soft on the inside. Oh, it's so perfect. I would make this jacket again if I found like some really cool funky fabric like this again. I would suggest if you want to do this coat and you are a beginner or intermediate sewer, just do it well in advance of wherever you're trying to wear it to if you're making it for a special occasion, okay? Because you're going to need plenty of time to try and decipher how to make these sleeves tucked in here, because this piece of fabric is a gigantic piece. It's 2 pieces. This is the center back right here that's seamed. But when you look at the piece of fabric, it's like really wide, and you have to like do these special kind of folds in order to get it like this. And I wasted a couple hours trying to figure it out because I didn't do my notches and markings right. But also the other problem was trying to mark on this fabric was difficult because I couldn't find a marker or a pencil that I could see consistently over all these different colors. Now you can do a tailor tack, but I didn't feel like it and I didn't have enough time and I was being lazy. But a tailor tack would have helped a lot if you had done that. If you don't know what a tailor tack is, go find it on somebody else's YouTube channel because I'm not about to show you. The only modification I did make that my mom just told me that I made, because I forgot, is I extended the length of the sleeve. Now, I originally was not going to do that. I was going to buy some burnt orange elbow length leather gloves, but then the only place that had them was eBay. And I didn't want to spend $60 on something from China that I wasn't sure was actually going to be real genuine leather. If they were $20, I'd be like, okay, we'll see. But I also have a really large hand, and most women's extra large leather gloves do not fit me. They're still too small. So instead of not having gloves, I just went ahead and extended the length of the sleeve so that it comes all the way down regular length. And I hope that I've inspired you too. If you want to do something weird and outlandish and eccentric, do it. Just make sure it's just below your knee and it ain't showing your boobs, okay? That's the rule. Be modest, but you can go a little wild with it, okay? Make you a strange little Russian doll dress and make you a cocoon coat. And that's it. I just want you to sew, that's all. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you didn't, hit the thumbs down. It's over here. And get off my channel. See you later, guys.